To solve Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 2 multiple choice, and it's an extended version, and the paper code is 0625/22. It's a May June 2022 paper, and it's a 45 minutes paper. So let's start off with our question number 1, and it states that very small values of which quantities are measured using micrometer screw gauge. So is it time? No, we cannot measure the time with the help of micrometer, screw gauge, pressure is the manometer or the barometer, moments. No, we cannot find out the moments as well. So obviously it's going to be the distance, which is like thickness of the pages or a wire, or we measure those things with the help of a micrometer, screw gauge. Okay, a man stands next to the railway track. A train traveling at 40 meters per second takes 2 seconds to pass the man. What is the length of the train? So basically, what he's asking the distance. So we will apply the formula speed equals to distance over time. So speed times equals to distance. So if you multiply speed 40 with 2, so you will end up at 80 meters. So the length of the train is going to be d 80 meters. Which quantity is equals to acceleration? Area under the distance time graph? No. Area under the speed time graph? No. The gradient of the, now you see this thing, this is not possible. Okay, so over here, gradient of the distance time graph will give you speed, and the gradient of the speed time graph or velocity time graph will give you the acceleration. On the moon, all the objects fall with same acceleration. Which statement explains this? On the moon, all objects have same weight. Now, uh, weights are different. The moon has a smaller gravitational field strength than Earth. Yes, this is a possible thing. The weight of, he is not comparing that thing with the Earth, because he is saying on the moon all the objects fall with the same acceleration. The weight of an object is directly proportional to its mass. Yes, the weight of an object is inversely proportional to its mass. Now, so when you apply this formula, you can see this thing, that weight is directly proportional to mass. A measuring cylinder contains 30 centimeter cube of liquid. The volume of the liquid is there. Some more of the liquid is added until the liquid level reaches to 50 centimeter cube mark. The reading on the balance increased by 30 grams. What is the density of the liquid? So in this case, we are going to, so we know the formula for density is equals to mass over volume. So over here the mass is going to be the 30 grams, and volume, which is going to be like some more of the liquid is added until the liquid is reaches this. So the volume is basically going to be 50 minus 30, because this is actual volume which is given. So it's going to be 1.5 grams per centimeter cube. So option C is your right answer. Okay, moving ahead. An object moves at a constant speed around a circular path. Which statement is correct? A resultant force acts on the objects outwards from the center of the circle. No, this is wrong. A resultant force acts on the object in the direction of its traveling. No, because the object is moving in a circular path, so the resultant force direction would be towards the center. A resultant force acts object towards the center of the circle. Yes, this might be the reason. There is no resultant force acting on the object because it's moving at a constant speed. No, that's not true. So option C is your right answer for this question. Okay, now let's start off with the other question. A beam is pivoted at one end as shown. The beam weighs 6 newtons. At the end of the beam weighs 6 newtons, and the weight is a force of 4 newton is applied. Beam causing the perimeter. In which direction where the force is applied? So it's going to be like this. So F1 D1 equals to 40 into 6 is 240. So this is going to be 4 Newton force. So F2 D2, 4 times 60 is equals to 240. So this is going to be 4 newtons. Okay. The next question is the diagram shows two forces acting at a right angle to each other. So we know this thing that whenever we have a right angled triangle, so we are going to apply the Pythagoras theorem. So it's going to be hypotenuse square equals to perpendicular square plus base square. So by doing this, taking the square root, 3 square plus 9, the 4 square, so it's going to be 9 plus 16, which is going to be root 25, and this is going to be the 5. So 5 is going to be your answer, and this is your 5 Newton resultant force. Okay, move on to the next question. Which statement describes the impulse acting on an object? Impulse is the change in kinetic energy. Now that's wrong. Impulse is Ft equals to change in momentum. Change in momentum of the objects. Okay, yes, that's the reason. That's why I have written the formula over here. Impulse is the rate of change, so it's not rate of change of force, and this is again wrong. So impulse is the rate of change of momentum. Again, this is wrong because it if instead of impulse it was written force, so then is that was fine, because if you do this, F equals to delta P over T, so you can also define force as rate of change in momentum. Okay, a ball of mass 0.16 kg is moving forward at a speed of 0.5 meter per second. A second ball of mass 0.10 kg is stationary. The first ball strikes the second ball. The second ball moves forward at a speed of 0.5 meter per second. What is the speed of the first ball after the collision? So what we are going to use is we are going to apply the formula for this, and that is going to be the law of conservation of momentum, and we are, let's put the values into this. So this is going to be 0.16 times the velocity is 0.5, the mass of the second ball is 0.10, and this the velocity is stationary, so you have to write it 0. Then it's going to be the mass is going to be again 0.10 times 0.50 plus 0.16 v. Okay, this is what is required. So if you do the calculations on the calculator, so it's going to be 0.03 divided by 0.16, which is going to be v1, and it is approximately 0.1875, which is again 0.19. So option B would be your right answer. A tennis ball is dropped from the position 1. It falls vertically onto a hard surface as position 2. So what changes take place between position 1? So at the moment this ball has a gravitational potential energy. So when you drop it down, so it's going to have a kinetic energy, and then it's going to have elastic potential energy because the ball is of tennis. So you see this over here, the ball is getting deformed. So option B is going to be the right answer for this MCQ. A boy holds onto a bar and pulls himself up until his chin is level with the bar. He raises himself through 40 centimeter. So this is this and the word. Okay, we know that power is equals to work done over time, but over here it's going to be mgh, potential energy over time, and mg is equals to wh over t. Mg is basically the weight, so I have written weight because over here its weight is given. So 500 into the height is 40 divided by 100, because we have to convert it into meters, and then is the time is 0.5, so it's going to be 400 watts. So option B is the right answer for this question. Okay, moving to the next question. The diagram shows a deep reservoir formed by a dam. On what does the pressure at X depends? The depth of the water? Yes, because pressure is dependent upon rho g h. So yes is the depth. So first answer is, and the length is not required, surface area and thickness. Okay, The condition of a sample of a gas change in two stages. Stage 1 increases the temperature at a constant volume. Stage 2 increase of volume with no further changes of temperature. Which row about the pressure after each stage is correct? So for the stage 1, pressure is compared with the original pressure, and if you see this, if you increase the temperature, so obviously the pressure will be increased. So these two options cannot be possible. In this next stage, these two options are C and D can be right. Now in the stage 2, increase of volume with no further change in temperature. So pressure is compared to the pressure after this. So when the pressure is compared uh, to the pressure at stage 2, so increase in volume. Now you increases the volume, so obviously the pressure is going to decrease. So option C is the right answer. Small pollen particles are suspended in water. When viewed with a microscope, the pollen particles can be seen to be moving about irregularly. What causes this movement? The pollen particles are being bombarded by the heavy particles of the water. Now, the pollen particles are being bombarded by the lighter particles of the water. Can be the answer. Okay, let's hold on. The temperature of water is higher. No, there's no concern with the temperature, so you simply cancel this out, and the B is going to be the your right choice left. The diagram shows a liquid in a glass thermometer. Which physical property of thermometer is used to measure temperature? Is the expansion of the glass? No. Expansion of the liquid? Yes. Mass of the glass? Mass of the liquid? No. So it's only the expansion of the liquid. A block of lead of mass 500 gram is at its melting point. The specific heat of fusion of lead is 23 kilojoules per kg. How much energy is required to completely melt down the block? So we know the formula is MLF. So mass is 0.5. You divided by, basically you are converting it into kg, and then is 23 1 2 3000. So this is the amount of energy that is going to be required, which is around 12,000 joules. B is the right answer. A glass contains an ice drink. On a warm and humid day, water starts to form on the outside of the glass. Water. What is the name of the effect by which the water forms? So the process is called condensation. One end of the copper bar is heated to high temperature. Which mechanism is responsible for the transfer of thermal energy to the other end of the copper? The lattice vibration of the copper ions only, the lattice vibration of copper ions, and the movement of higher energy electrons along the bar. The movement of higher energy copper ions along the bar, the movement of high energy electrons. No. The B is the right answer for this. Okay. 4 cubic copper containers are filled with water. The surface of all the containers are painted black. Two of the containers have sides of length 20 centimeters, and the other two containers have sides of 40 centimeter length. Two of the containers contains water at 80 degrees Celsius, and other two contains water at 30 degrees Celsius. Which container radiates energy at a lowest rate? So obviously it's going to be because we know that the more energy it has, the more it's going to dissipate. So the less amount of energy it has, and it's going to dissipate the less energy. The diagram shows the waves. Okay, which row is correct? Amplitude of the wave and the wavelength. Okay, the amplitude is this distance, so amplitude will be around 1. So these are the options which are going to be excluded. Now we are talking about the wavelength. So wavelength can be one complete wave, which is 8. Okay, or you can do one more thing, that you can subtract these two, 4 and 12. 12 minus 4, so you will again get the same answer. So option B is the right answer. The water wave shown has a frequency of 4 hertz, And what is the speed of the wave? So we have v is equals to f lambda, and frequency is, if you do this, frequency is 4, which is given, and wavelength is 36 divided by 3. So you will end up 4 into 12, and the answer will be 48 centimeter per second. So C is the answer. So basically, if you see this thing, the amplitude is 3 centimeter. By the way, you can do this thing to find out the wavelength. This is your, starting from this point, this is your one wave, this is your two wave, and this is your three wave. So basically, you're dividing 36 with 3 waves to find out the wavelength. A student uses one eye to look at the image in a plane mirror. Objects are placed on the line xy. Which objects give the rise to image that can be seen by the eye at E? So which image is going to that can be, which image give rise to image that can seen by the eye at E? So this can be Q or ST, are the only places where you can put the object to get your image, and this is going to be the B is going to be the answer. Okay, an object is placed in front of converging lens of a focal length 15 centimeter. Which row describes the image of the object? So for the focal length is 15 centimeter. And so now you see this thing that the focal length of the lens is 15 centimeter. So if you place it in between the focal length and the optical center, then the distance is going to be this one, because it's less than 15, and the nature of the image is going to be virtual, upright, and enlarged, because the image is going to be created somewhere here. So this is going to be the answer for this thing. The speed of light in air is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. The critical angle of light in a transparent plastic material placed in air is 37. What is the speed of light in plastic material? So first we have two formulas for refractive index, and this is going to be 1 over sine c. The critical angle is given over here, so we are going to use that to find out sine 37, which is going to be 1.66. And now we are going to apply this formula to find out the speed of light in plastic. So V is equals to C over N. C is 3 into 10 to the power 8, and N is 1.66. It's going to be around 1.8 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So option A is your right choice. Which type of waves are produced by television remote controllers? So it's going to be the infrared waves, not the radio or ultraviolet or visible lights, because we can't see those waves. Which statement correctly compares radio waves and X? Radio waves have a longer wavelength and a greater speed in vacuum. Radio waves have a longer wavelength and same speed in vacuum. So yes, the electromagnetic waves have same speed. So option B is the right choice. The diagram shows the magnetic field around three objects P, Q, R placed close to each other. Which row shows the nature of each of the objects? So P, okay, P is going to be like permanent magnet, because you can see this thing that this is north and this is south, so the lines are coming out of this, and this is going to be your permanent magnet. Okay, all the lines are permanent, there's nothing change in it. Okay, what will be Q? And instead of this Q, this is, let's suppose, south and north. So this is the one, this is the one. So obviously we can use the common sense to find out that is going to be the copper rod. So option B is going to be the right answer. A negatively charged rod is brought near to an uncharged metal sphere that is placed on an insulating stand. Which diagram shows the distribution of charges on a sphere? So when you bring a negative charge, initially it has positive and negative like this. So when you bring those things close to this, so it's going to be the positive ones will be coming close to this and the negative one will be going far away. So the option B is going to be your right answer because of the electrostatic forces. A resistor has a potential difference of 12 volts, and across it has a current is this. V is equals to 12 volts, I is equals to 0.6, and R you need to find out. So V is equals to IR and V divided by I is equals to R. So voltage is 12 divided by 0.6, so it's going to be around 20 ohms, so the answer would be D. There is a current I in a resistance of a resistor R for a time t, and the potential difference across the resistor is V. Which equation gives the power P dissipated in the resistor? So we are given this and this, okay. So for this we are going to find out the power formula, and it is going to be given by this equation. The four circuits shown each contains four diodes. In which circuit is the direction of the current in the resistor always from the red terminal to the black terminal? So let's see this thing. If you, let's suppose this is positive term and this is going to be positive, but this is going to be positive, yes, and then it's going to be positive like this, and positive, and then it goes like this, and yes, so this is the one. This is positive goes to this thing. In which circuit is the direction of current in the resistor always from the red terminal to the black terminal? So this is one way. Now we are doing for the other. So basically I was checking for positive, and there was positive. This can block that thing, so it cannot travel from this place. So it has traveled from this side to this side, then it traveled here, and then it goes like this. Okay, so again let's try for the next one. Let me check. So now you can see this thing that in these diagrams, if I try to draw this again with a brown killer pencil, you see this thing that when the positive flows like this, so it goes like this, and then we have no other direction. So you see the question is going to be wrong because it was saying that it should be from red to black. So first option B cannot be possible. In the second scenario, when the current travels from in the C option, it travels from this point, it goes like this, and then this is right, red to black. But thing is this, after this is going to be stopped. You see this thing, there's no other passage over here, so there's no more, it's not going to work properly. In option D, you see this thing plus is going to travel from this direction, then it's this direction, and then it goes like that. So it means it is not moving from this portion, so this is also wrong. So these two options, these are wrong. The diagram shows a battery connected to a potential divider and two lamps P and Q. The slider on the potential divider is moved from the end X to Y of the resistor, which row shows the effect of brightness of each lamp. So the brightness of the lamp for the P is not going to change because the amount of current is going to be traveling from the P will not be changed, so it's going to be either C or D. And so for the brightness in Q is going to be like change, because you see initially the resistance is less, but if you increase it or if you move it like this, so it's going to be the amount of current passing through this passage is going to be less. So option C will be the right answer. It's going to be the brighter. What is the truth table for the logic gate shown by the symbol? So A, B, C, D. Okay, this is AND gate, and then there's inverter on it. So 0, 0 is 1, 0, 1 is 1. So this is the option A, D. This is an AND gate, opposite of AND gate. So I know this thing, this is AND, this is AND gate, and the opposite of this is NAND gate. So because there is a bubble as well over here. A coil XY is wound around a cardboard tube. When the S pole of the magnet is pushed into the coil XY, the galvanometer deflects to the left. So what other movements of the magnets will produce a deflection to the left? So it's going to be the Lenz's law. You guys can recall this thing, and the answer would be D, that is going to move the needle towards the left. Which transformer can change 240 volts AC input into 15 volt AC? So it's going to be like, you see, you are going to step down. Step down means that let's do the calculation for this. Okay, I have done this question over here, so you can see this thing, that the voltage in secondary divided by voltage in primary is equals to the number of turns in secondary divided by number of turns in primary. So voltage in secondary is going to be 15 volts. This is I have written over here. Voltage in primary is 240 volts, and number of turns in secondary is 75. This is secondary coil, and the number of turns in primary is 1200. So if you do the calculation, so you will end up with this right option. The diagram shows the current carrying wire in a magnetic field. In which direction is the force acting on the wire? We will use the Fleming left hand rule for this, because the current is moving. Okay, let me check. Father, mother, child. So mother is like this, child is like this, so towards the bottom of the page. So this will be option A. So it's going to be moving towards the bottom of the page, and if you do the Fleming left hand rule, you will understand how this works. So if you have any queries regarding this, I can explain that topic, or MCQ. A scientist was asked to separate the following equation into two categories: nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. Okay, now fusion is the merging of those things, and fission is the breaking down. So you can do one thing, that which equation shows nuclear fission? It's the fission is again it's breaking, and fusion is this is merging of according to the definition. So your two, this is wrong because you're merging, and this is also merging. So option 1 and 4 are your right answers for this, because you are breaking this radioactive element into two daughter radioactive elements and neutrons plus a huge amount of energy, and this radioactive element is again broken down into two daughter radioactive elements plus neutrons and huge amount of energy. Which radioactive source is used to in smoke alarm systems, and what is the reason for this? So it's going to be the alpha, which is going to be used for this purpose. And if you have remembered or studied the uses of these alpha, beta, and gamma, so these are the you can easily identify these MCQs, and why they are used, because it causes most ionization of air. A beam of alpha particles and the beta particles is incident at right angles to the electric field. Which statement about the deflection of the particle in the field is correct? So it's going to be the B. Alpha particles deflects opposite direction to the beta particles. So if you see this thing, if you put this radioactive element into the lead box, and then you put it into an electric field or magnetic field, so this is going to be your alpha, this is going to be your beta, and this is going to be your gamma, which is neutral, is undeflected. And thank you very much. That's it for this paper. So if you have any queries, do write me in the comment, and I'll update you. Thank you very much.